Hi, welcome to Art Draw. Today I'm going to draw the Ziggy skin from Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3 Super. So I'm going to draw that cool lizard with his yellow t-shirt and shorts, chill vibes t-shirt. Let's go up to the top. What I'm going to do is just go right up to here, just do a little curve here where it's got his little hat element there. It's got a couple of leaves coming out of this, so all I'm going to do is from that first line bring the pen round to a point, and another side here to the other point there. There's a little leaf, and then we're just going to have a little, looks like a little V just for the other leaf there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is going to draw the head. So he's got like little lizard elements coming over here, so I'm just going to draw a little curve popping over here, and near that leaf element there I'm going to draw a little pop there. Then what I'm going to do is just sort his eyes out. So I'm going to go to that little point there, I'm going to come around this way here. Nice curve, like a little C. And then I'm going to go from the top again, I'm going to pop it out. Nice curve either side there. What I can do while I'm here, just draw a nice curve for the eye. And then you've got a nice circle there, and then we've got inside there a little chip of black for his pupil. On the other side, I'm going to go from this point here, I'm going to come along this way and I do a nice arc around that way there. And then up to the top again, I'm going to come around, just make it pop, nice curve, those sort of popping lizard eyes that pop out of the head there. Again, I can just sort of come around here, just draw a nice curve where his eyelid is. And then the other eye, pupil area, draw a nice curve there, and then just here, just a nice little arc of black there for the pupil. Okay, right, I've got those bits in now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go down, just draw the rest of his face. So I'm going to come out from that eye point here, I'm going to just draw a nice curve out and then in. And then from this eye here, come outwards and then in like that. We'll just sort of just draw a hint of a line across there. Now his mouth goes right across the whole width of the face. So it kind of goes sort of a little bit of a smile, sort of goes down and up and down along here and then back up to the end. So I'm just gonna grab my pen, it's almost like go down, bring it up, nice curve here, down and then lip it out at the end there. It's got a nostril probably around here and then a little nostril there. And then these little arcs that we drew earlier, they sort of come down sort of lizard style, just bring it down. Little lines either side of these nostrils, like that. What we can do is just draw a few little curves in that, just to give them that lizard look. And by the mouth, just a few little lines up and down. There we go, maybe just make those nostril elements a little bit bigger. Cool, okay, right, next up, just gonna draw his neck, and then I'm gonna do like the little sort of leafy hair sort of element there. So, first of all, come down this way, nice curve. Down from here, nice sort of arc around there, and then just do a nice curve, join it up, got your neck. And then, like I said, it's gonna draw like a little V there, a little elongated V sort of coming up to the side here. And then same sort of thing, like these little leaves behind, sort of give the impression of hair. One coming down from the eye, down there, up, and then finally a one that sort of goes in between those two there. There you go. That's like the head area there. Okay, let's look at the t-shirt that he's wearing, okay? So let's go and do the shoulders. So first of all, shoulder pops over to the right. Gonna go grab the pen, just come down, just curve your pen down here to his shoulder. And then nice flick out at the end there for his t-shirt. We can bring that in, I guess, to about there. Over here, again, I'm gonna bring my pen down, nice swoop down, diagonal to the shoulder, about here, curve it in. Flick it out there at the end for the t-shirt, and I think this one's sort of gonna come over sort of this way, so nice little curve there. And then what we can do is just arc the pen up this way, sort of taper it off a little bit, and we've got that t-shirt element. Now I've got that in, I'm going to come down sort of down to about this point here. I'm going to draw the t-shirt. So it probably comes from about this point here where the crease of the arm is and the underarm. So I'm just going to draw a line, come along here, sort of down, flip it out a little bit as we come down to the end of the t-shirt. And I think on this side, we can kind of come down from about here. Nice line down, slight line across there. We're going to join it up now. It's got a little cool little label here. So I'm just going to draw a nice chunky square right there. And then what we're going to do is just join up the dots. So join this up here and then join up the rest of the t-shirt. So go from that line there, bring it along here to that square we've made. Just a little bit of edging, probably coming out from about here. Just sort of a little bit of edging that comes around like the edge of that t-shirt. We can just draw a little arc around there. Cool, okay. Right, now we're here. Let's look at the arms. So he's going to give a little wave here with his reptilian arm. So the elbow probably comes down to about there. So from this t-shirt point here, I'm going to draw the arm nice, curve to the elbow point here, and then come out and up to the wrist. The outer arm, just come in from that t-shirt area there, down here to the crease of the forearm, and we can go along this way to the wrist area there. Right, gonna draw the thumb, so I'm gonna bring my pen up, nice curve out for the thumb there, curve it around and back. And then he's got two sort of fingers, so one is up here, so just go up this way here, curve it around there. And then we can go out from this side, a little bit smaller finger, curve it around here, around like that, and then we can just join it all up to the edge there. Cool. Okay, so next up, what I'm gonna do is just draw his other arms coming down this way here. So again, let's start on the inner. We can go right to this corner point here. We can just go boom, down like that to the crease of the arm. So it's probably gonna be about there. I can draw a little line in. On the other side, I'm going to come down to about there. Sort of tapers in a little bit. And then we can go to the forearm, to the wrist. He's got little bands on, so we're going to come down to about this point. Curve your pen out and into the wrist. And then here we just come down a little bit further and we curve it out and then bring it in, sort of taper it in there. Just going to draw a little hint of some bands. So I'm just going to draw a few little curves around here like that, and then we can just bounce those either side so it looks like he's got little bands on. Now from this point I can draw the thumb. The thumb comes out this way, probably comes up to about there. So just get your pen, curve it around at the end to a point there. Got a finger coming down this way, so just bring your pen down to about there, curve it up, just a little crease out there. Then the little finger behind is sort of hidden, so I'm going to come out from that area there and bring it in there. Okay, next up, I'm going to do his shorts. So the shorts will come down to about this area here. I'm going to come out from about this point down to about here. So I'm going to bring my pen out, nice wide shorts there. Bring your pen around to a crease point here, and I reckon the middle of his legs are about there, so just mark that there. And then I can come down from about this point, just bring your pen down here to about there. And then I can curve it around again, nice and wide. And then we can just bring the pen up to the thumb, and then beyond the thumb, sort of goes behind it, up to there. A couple of little curves here on the shorts. Just show the piping, a bit like the t-shirt. And then we're ready really to draw those legs. So I'm gonna go and do this leg on the right-hand side first. So what I'm gonna do is come to about this point here, I'm gonna draw the knee, just gonna pop out the knee there. Then I'm gonna come downwards, draw the shin, just go all the way down to there. Go up to here. That's where the other side of the leg is. Just go into the inner part and bounce it out a bit where the calf is, and then curve it in there to the middle of the leg. On this side, I'm gonna come down probably about this point here, bit of thigh muscle to the knee, to there. I'm On the other side, probably go from about here, curve it into the knee. And now while I'm there, I can just bring it out where the calf muscle is there and swoop down here. And then on this side, I'm just gonna pop it out again, bit of calf muscle, and then down to the shin point there. Okay, let's get his cool trainers on. So let's go over to the right. The shoe's coming out this way. So I'm gonna do a nice sort of fluffy tongue on the, sort of big old tongue on the shoe there. I'm gonna give an impression of laces underneath this. So just bounce the pen, sort of 4 or 5 times like that. Bounce the pen on the other side like that. Join it up, a couple of little lines, we've got those laces. A couple of lines down here for the additional lace. Just taper it off there. And then what I can do at the front here is just come out to about here, curve it around, so up to about there, go to a heel and up like that, join it up there. It's got a real chunky sole, so I'm gonna just draw in a few lines for a hint of that. And on this side again, it's got the shoe coming a bit more forward, sort of towards us, so I'm gonna draw a nice chunky sort of front tongue bit, sort of covers those ankle areas. Then again, what I'm going to do is just draw these bouncy laces. So I'm going to draw a line first of all, then I'm just going to go draw 3 or 4, maybe 5 little bouncy sort of laces there. Bring your pen along like that, and it's got that good impression of that. Flip the pen out a bit, taper it off, and we've got a lace. And then we're going to come down to about this point. We're just going to bring our pen out and around, curve it around here and back up there. Then give it a nice edge for the tongue. We've got those trainers in. Got a little tail on him, so the tail we can just flip, sort of come from the back here, we can just flip it around this way and around like that. And then while we're here, let's do a little bit more detail. So first of all, he's got a couple of bands on his legs, so just gonna draw 2 little flicks along there. A little bit of an arrow on the trainer, so just like a nice little hint of the like arrows there, so we can colour that in later. A little bit of a motif on the tongue area as well, so we just got to give an impression of that. We can be quite loose with it. There's a few little leaf elements like on his shorts, so we can just draw some nice little curves in there going on. There's a couple of leaves here, so it's just nice to sort of draw a few little leaves along here, just adds to the detail on the picture. A few little, just wanted to draw some little oblongs along the way like that. A few around here, maybe one up there. And he's got a big one in the centre, he's got 2 little leaves there. So I'm gonna come out from the centre here, I'm gonna draw out a little curve out, background, just chip it up. And one on this side as well, so come out, round, chip it up like that. And then he's got chill vibes written in here, so I'm just gonna write that in. So I'm just gonna write like the little sort of chill vibes text. Put a Z on that. Then what I can do, I can just make that just a little bit more bouncy by just drawing around it. Just make it sort of bounce a bit. Bubble it up a bit for yourself. Just makes it a little bit softer. Just sort of go around what you've written. A few nice little curves. Starting to look really cool. There we go. Now a few little additional elements now. I'm just going to go sort of into the top, just drawing the leaf, little lines, a few little lines and markings on our guy here, on Ziggy. So just a hint of these little sort of bands going around him. That's pretty cool, around here. Just nice and loose as we're going around there. Down to the legs, just a few little sort of motifs going on. There we go. And then what I might do is there's a few little sort of bubbly bits on the t-shirt and the shorts, so maybe just a nice little, few little squiggles, don't have to draw it all in, just a few little sort of squiggly bits going around. And the top there, Maybe that top actually has got a little band around it. Okay, just a few little sort of squiggly bits going around. And maybe on the tail as well, we can just sort of draw a few little markings on there. And then maybe just sort of have this text looking like it's a little bit sort of outlined around there, sort of a bit kind of protected. There we go, that's looking pretty cool. Yeah, there's quite a bit of detail on there, and you don't have to put all that detail in, you can do as much as you want. Maybe I'll just draw a couple of little sort of light lines on this side here, around there, and then I think, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. There's Ziggy, the Ziggy skin from Fortnite Super, that's Chapter 6, Season 3. Let me know what you think of the skin. Let me know who else I can draw from the latest season, and I'll see you again soon. Alright, bye for now.